Well, the story starts with oxygen. And a lot of people understand that oxygen is very important for health. Even doctors realize that. But they don't know why. Oxygen is an interesting molecule. An oxygen molecule can receive electrons. It's called reducing the oxygen. It also can oxidize other things by taking electrons away. That's why it's called an oxidant. And when it grabs an electron, it becomes a new thing. Oxygen, when it grabs an extra electron, becomes a superoxide ion. If it grabs another one, it becomes a peroxide ion, like hydrogen peroxide. And then it grabs more, and it becomes more and more active in that area. It also becomes more reduced. And the most reduced form of oxygen is water. And, oxygen is the major component in water, and the bonds that exist there are important. There's 1 trillion billion of these molecules in just one drop of water. So there's a lot of oxygen, and the water also forms clusters, and the clusters then also have biological impact inside the cells. And so, as we're developing biology, we start realizing that we are made out of a bunch of tissues. And those tissues are made of interconnected cells. And then these cells have all sorts of things happening, just a metropolis of activity inside, from complex molecules that are connected and orchestrated. And they're all connected through the saltwater medium. Everything in biochemistry takes place in salt and water. And the salt and water also becomes oxidized and reduced. And that's what they call redox, reduction oxidation technologies. And it causes all of the things inside the cell to work. And the cell helps to communicate and coordinate all of these very diverse activities inside by using oxidation of oxygen or salt water, which also includes some other things that are like hypochlorites and such. Most of these are produced while the metabolism is producing sugar and creating superoxides and such. And these are being created by the mitochondria, and then they're being eliminated by the antioxidants. Inside the cell, there's a continual process of creation and elimination of these redox signaling molecules. Some of you have seen this before. And that's wonderful because the mitochondria is producing energy. It's also producing these things, and it's keeping in a homeostatic balance all of the oxidation inside the cell until the cell gets damaged. Then the cell starts to smoke, send up smoke signals where the oxidants and free radicals go crazy. And this is a signal that something is wrong inside your body, like inflammation or immune disorders or whatever it happens. This signals the genes then to take their stance, to get ready and to fix the problem and or kill the cell. And the cell, when it dies, it's a programmed death, is replaced by the neighboring cells that are healthy. And this is the way that the body heals itself. And so when you can see that when I saw that we were able to produce these redox signaling messengers outside the body that can directly stimulate the processes inside the cell to let the cell repair and replace damaged tissue, it was incredible. This had been impossible in the past. And I still, at that early age, thought it was impossible until we started to see the results that we did in the clinical environment and also around the world. So James Watson now is one of the champions. He was the one that saw or helped discover what the structure of DNA is. Right now, he is in New York, by the way. It's sunny up there. And he is spending the rest of his life seeing what these reactive oxygen species or redox signaling molecules do inside the body, and seeing how we can produce them inside the body. So this is not a behind the scenes type of science. This is actually in front sort of things. Many have in the cell signaling process discovered what redox signaling does. One of them, and many of them, I should say, have earned Nobel Prizes and written books, done absolutely wonderful work in science on this technology. So there's the lead up, and I hope that it didn't take too long. The antioxidant myth is that oxidants are bad and antioxidants are good, and you only can get them from vegetables. That's not true. Both antioxidants and oxidants are produced inside your body and are necessary companions for the healthy working processes inside your body. And many oxidative therapies today are becoming very popular, like these, the oxygen tents and the ozone therapy and hydrogen peroxide, and the ways that we stimulate through light and electromagnetic radiation, oxidative processes inside of our body. All of these have to do with the redox signaling process. So they're trying to stimulate and create the redox signaling inside the body that will heal damaged tissue. So I'm going to go through a little bit this quickly, but we've found that the oxidants are very critical in the regrowth of tissue. This is a tadpole. You cut the tail off a tadpole and it regrows. The reds and oranges and the yellows are actually the redox signaling messengers, the oxidants that are inside the tissue. They're able to use fluorescent markers to show what it is. Notice in the regeneration of the tail, the oxidants are very critical there. In fact, without that, what they did also is they took antioxidants and got rid of the oxidants for the regeneration process, and the tail did not regenerate. So the oxidation, the redox signaling molecules were absolutely essential in the regeneration of tissue. And the redox signaling molecules inside of SIA, actually, I'm going to go through this a little bit, are able to replenish the same type of redox signaling molecules that are inside healthy living cells, and that are produced in there in a way that has never been possible before, through drinking it. And so we asked, well, what will these redox signaling molecules do? Are they safe? The 16 years of studies that I mentioned before said they're absolutely safe. They're biocompatible, they're bioactive. They increase antioxidant efficacies. They increase the NRF2. And this is important because we just have proven through our gene studies that NRF2 is one of the pathways of the genes, the increased production of NRF2, which produces antioxidants and defense genes. And it also does a lot of the things that we've seen in the gene study. For example, it helps to activate the innate immune system and reduce inflammation. And in the muscular and the vascular health also helps to renew the endothelium, or the cells inside the blood vessels. And one thing that I didn't know from the gene study that I didn't predict was that it also helps in the production of digestive enzymes in the digestive system. And it speeds up regeneration of skin cells and oxidation of tissues. And these things that we have seen. And besides that, it kills all the microbes. It's perfectly safe. It can go in your eyes, ears, your nose, your mouth. You can put it in any tissue. You can put it inside, outside yourself in any amount, and it's safe. And but it kills bacteria. So the bacteria that are pathogenic, the bad guys, it kills. And it has no effect on the healthy bacteria. And we've done several studies on that. Cell cultures, we found that it increased antioxidant efficacies, incredible amounts in cell cultures. It increased sensitivity to hormones. That's another one that we've proven out in the gene study. It reverses cell aging. Cells that were aging and unresponsive, excuse me, all of a sudden became responsive and new when we put it to see in these cell cultures. It opens these KEAP1 channels, which are also part of the genetic pathways that we have studied. It opens detoxification channels in the gut, and stimulates antioxidant production, and it's key to regeneration cycles of the cell. So we found that this is just almost a universal heal-it thing. If you want to be a little bit less technical, where it is exposed, it tends to accelerate the healing process of the cells. And it also helps to enhance the energy utilization in animals. Mice were shown to run 29% longer when they were given a SIA. The human metabolism also goes shifts in metabolites that last longer than 24 hours. Again, this was a study that was done about 3 or 4 years ago. And then there are several theories as of why it is working and why it's doing this, and we're still discussing. The science is just at the barely beginning of understanding this, and then the thousands of cases that have been reported and for positive benefits. The benefits for skin. Of course, skin, when it becomes damaged, is very visible, and so the reduction in blotches, smoothness, texture, and hydration are very obvious. You don't have to be a scientist to see the effects of this. But they did use very good analysis and three-dimensional mapping of skin texture and stuff by lasers to analyze this in order to get these results. It increases the blood flow, it decreases the cellulite fat globules, and then it increases the rate of cellular regeneration. Cardiovascular research, we already knew that it would be incredible for the cardiovascular system. The genetic research said that it stimulates the EGR1 gene that helps to renovate the inside of the veins, these endothelial cells that we were talking about before. And so very, very exciting that we're actually, in several cases when we have sugar problems in the blood, these very veins are destroyed, and it degrades our nervous system, degrades our cardiovascular system. There are over 5,000 mitochondria in every cell of the heart, 4,000 to 5,000. And they're producing these things because the heart can't stop and repair itself. So the endocrine research that has gone on, also the skin research, lung research, long before Dr. Malmed was on there, we saw the most incredible things on the regeneration of lung tissue in animals. We can't talk about it because this was early research before we gained technology. Digestive system research, it helps these digestive system to replace cells. Of course, cell signaling is important in the nervous system, and it aids there. It's safe and applicable to everything. And so now, recently I was going to say, a little bit about the genetic research. We found that there are 5 genes that we've been able to determine. Genetic research is very difficult because there's thousands and tens of thousands of genes, and they're moving all over the place, and it's difficult to see which ones, to actually find a difference in the noise. But we did, and they were some of the most important signaling genes that exist in our body. And so you can imagine, how excited I am. Now I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines. I'm doing other things. I've written a book now about it, a new book, and it's being released next month. And so I'm still very excited and involved in the science. still. And but I'm almost more excited in seeing, what's happening in the field with you guys. Okay.